Have you ever dreamed you were falling? Did you ever reach the bottom? I'm Bencho. This is Flash, a series where I give you my first impressions on games I've been playing, new or old. Today, that game is Lorne's Lure. Let's get to it. In Lorne's Lure, you run, jump, and climb. You're like a rat in the sewers, a monkey in the jungle. You hop and climb and skitter through trees, but their branches are pipes, the vines are wires, the trees are vast pylons of metal, rebar, concrete and plastic, rust and mold, dust and dirt and steel. Lorne's Lure is vast, beautiful, tense, dark, cold, lonely. And you have no choice but to go deeper, forever, because there was nothing out there for you. No one, no life, nothing. You've been chasing a hallucination through the corpse of a machine, clinging to its rotting organs like a parasite, and it feels so fucking good. I've been waiting for this game since I played its demo back in 2021 and was lucky enough to receive an early copy, and it does not disappoint. Lorne's Lure is a parkour platformer similar to games like Bet and Brutal, Mirror's Edge, and if you're a real one, Creed's Climbing. You play an android with climbing picks, chasing a digital owl deep into the guts of a derelict megastructure. The game tells you nothing else but you have no other choice, you must keep going. There are no quest markers, you have to carve your own path inside a giant ancient machine. The game is a fantastic example of show don't tell. The levels, although vast and daunting, always felt easy to navigate. Careful use of lights and colors guided me through each level, and all the times I finally found my way after getting lost, it always felt obvious and intentional in retrospect. In fact, getting lost in this game is a core feature. A friend of mine described it very well when I was playing it. He said, "It feels like you're getting lost in the right direction. There's no correct path, but there's enough hints and subtle clues to keep you going where you need to go." It helps that it's easy to experiment. Whenever you fall too far or hit the ground too hard, you reset on the last stable platform you were standing on. At no point was I worried about making a wrong turn or risky jump, and at some points I even used this feature to my advantage to scout ahead routes I couldn't see by full-blown yeeting myself off cliffs. This game feels like exploring out of bounds in another game. Have you ever stacked objects on top of each other in games like Half-Life to see if you can jump over a fence you're not supposed to, or just turn on cheats and place yourself on a nearby roof to see how far you get? That's what Lorne's Lure feels like, when you're really in the pocket. Like, you should not be able to stand here, but in the best way possible. Lorne's Lure is dark and alluring. Glimpses of past inhabitants and ghosts of the impossible monolith the megastructure you're exploring used to be elicit a sense of dread and uneasiness. But strangely enough, at the same time, a sense of calm and wonder at what it all once was or could have been. Like a tasting menu of small one-bite dishes, it gives you just enough delicious morsels to keep you going until you get to the next bite. Truly a thoughtful and passionate homage to some pure and classic movement mechanics. Lorne's Lure is a great game. And if that's all you need to hear, then go buy it and play it. But if you want the full picture, here it is. I have a few critiques of the game. It's hard to differentiate between climbable and non-climbable surfaces, and sometimes progressing through the levels can feel a little too daunting and confusing. But my main issue, without spoiling too much, is that there are a few moments in the game where you're expected to traverse an area in a limited amount of time. If you fail to do so, you die and have to try again. Although these moments happened after I was more than comfortable with the controls, I found it jarring to go from an almost meditative traversal game in quiet and contemplative locations to a sudden fast-paced race-like segment that demanded a level of precision and perfection of the movement mechanics that, up until that point, I had no motivation to gain. 90% of the game is wandering around figuring out how to get from point A to point B with no time restraints or punishments for going slow. While I understand the desire to put in moments of tension and speed in a parkour/traversal game, I found it antithetical to the atmosphere I'd come to enjoy, and it ended up spoiling the mood for me rather than enhancing it. To give you an idea of how frustrating this was, there's a level that is almost exclusively a time trial, and I ended up taking about an hour and a half to beat it with over 150 deaths. effectively killing the atmosphere and forcing me to lock in so I could just get it over with. Needless to say, it was disappointing to be left in a sour mood after so many hours of peak atmosphere and level design. At the end of the day, though, that means if you want to turn your brain off and be walked through a game, this game's not for you. It drops you in with very little guidance on purpose. It's a game about exploration and playing in the space you're given until it's not. In hindsight, there is a tutorial option that I could have turned on that would have guided me through the more frustrating segments, but I believe that would have taken away from the parts of the game I enjoyed the most and thought were executed incredibly well. Overall, I give Lorne's Lure an A-, a game with a clear, polished vision, a unique perspective, and thoughtful design, although with some jarring pacing moments. It's not a game for everyone, but I still highly recommend picking it up on Steam and giving it a shot. If money is tight, but you still want to try the game, I've got some good news for you. I'll be streaming Lorne's Lure on my Twitch channel at this date below, links to it in the description. I'll be giving out Steam keys to 4 lucky viewers who show up, so drop by, come hang out for a chance to get a peek at the game and for a chance to get your own free copy. That's it for me, guys. See you in the next one.